Thank you guys for coming out here all the way to Black Mountain, to the Actors Center of Asheville. I know that you had to walk through a warehouse. I'm not going to murder you. It's okay. I know there are some people out there that probably want to, though, because you're the Young Democrats of Buncombe County, right? Great. Do you prefer Asheville or Buncombe County?
Buncombe County.
Buncombe County, great. So what's the difference between the Young Democrats versus the old Democrats of Buncombe County? Is it the Grateful Dead and hashish versus, EDM and vaping? Or is it like gelatin and avocado toast? Or like, what is it? What's the difference?
Well, some of us still listen to the Grateful Dead, for sure. Mostly we are 36 and younger, and we live in Buncombe County, and we are registered Democrats. And the idea is that we have a group that can kind of focus on young people issues, stuff that matters to us, like affordable housing and living wages and student debt. So it's just sort of an opportunity for those young voices to be heard in the party.
Well, that's a great answer. You want to tell that to Mitch McConnell, is that? While children were still in cages, Nancy Pelosi and Bernie Sanders took time out to tell restaurant owners to not kick out members of the Trump administration if they wanted to go for, say, a burrito after putting Mexican children in cages. Why are Democrats like this right now?
Yeah, I think that we live in a time where people are constantly trying not to only stick up for the people that are on their team. And I think that people like Bernie Sanders were trying to say, it's not just always them doing shitty things.
Yeah,
and
they want to be the refs and not the other team playing. They want to be, hey, everybody play fair. But
yeah. But at the same time, it's like I have an issue with people not working very, very hard in the Democratic Party to change things and to make things more progressive. If they weren't doing those things and then took time out of their day, like Nancy Pelosi, kind of have an issue with her doing that, because it's like, what are you doing to help people like me? And you're taking out time out of your day to call out business owners like that, where Bernie Sanders and other people that are extremely, in my eyes, on my side, are very active in politics. And I see them, that's like one second out of the many hours and days and years he's spent in going into politics, and being the same Bernie Sanders you see today than he was 30 years ago.
This has turned into a Bernie Sanders campaign ad, I guess.
That's where you came from.
I'll follow up on that.
Yeah, so you want to follow up on Bernie Sanders or us hating Nancy Pelosi?
Just the original question.
Okay, great.
And essentially, we're already existing at a point which there's a lot of just really kind of savagery, like political partisanship and hatchet jobs going on, and some people still think that the work needs to get done on the floor of the Senate and in political spheres, and that this is sort of a distraction from things. That is, a private establishment that has, it's difficult for me as a young Democrat to start talking about private establishments and who they should kick out. A lot of this was going on in the backdrop of that case out in Colorado.
Well, hopefully we don't kick anybody out of the Democratic Party, because we need people to vote.
Well, that's right, but out of private establishments is another story too. Okay. And while it may feel good for sure, it doesn't give you any sort of legislative growth or political action. It's more of a personal slight. And so from a public sphere standpoint, and people that have positions of authority, you can understand why some people would take a chance to keep it civil.
I think the Democratic Party is changing too. So you just have two different groups of people that don't necessarily work against each other, but have different views of how to make progress in the Democratic Party.
Yeah, so this brings me to my next question. It seems like there are kind of two Democratic parties right now. One being, a party being kind of the candidates and people like her, like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who they want to shake things up. They want to represent people that are coming up in society, people who are in their 20s and 30s who are working professionally, and then people who, are just worried about losing their seats. What is it about affordable college and healthcare that doesn't bankrupt people? What is this? What is so weird about that?
I think that people, conservative and traditional Democrats, all the way over to kind of right-wingers, all of those people that are naysayers about affordable healthcare and affordable college. I think the naysayers are kind of, most of them at least, think it's not possible. They live in this kind of world where they're like, yeah, that's a nice idea.
Yeah.
And that millennials and people on the left, I would say, when we think it's possible, they really don't. So they might like the idea of those
They think
things.
war's possible, though. That's cool.
Yeah, like spending billions of dollars on wars. Yeah, for sure. That's what they want to do with it. And I don't think that we should be spending that money on war, like you just said.
Right.
It should be spent on healthcare, and it should be spent on college.
Those ideas aren't as controversial as a lot of people would like to make them out to be. I think there is a lot of punditry going on about these things, and these issues, these policies, these ideas that people are coming up with. And due to the nature of the way we discuss these things in our public discourse, with one head versus the other and a split screen, Wolf Blitzer in the middle, it seems to give it a more binary outlook than it really is. A lot of these policies are actually really popular. I believe that healthcare for all is polling at around 70% right now among voters. And
Where did you get that statistic?
that is from Pew, I believe.
Okay.
And
Pew like
Pew
church
Research.
Pew Research?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So which name do you prefer? Millennial or professional person in their 20s and 30s who is being crushed by massive amounts of student loan debt?
Debt, for sure.
Great.
Professional.
Me too. Bye question. So what's the secret to getting people to vote in a midterm? And not usually like the old and racist as it usually goes.
I think you have to make voting relevant to people. So a lot of people just have this feeling that my vote doesn't count or it doesn't matter, we're gerrymandered or whatever. So I think just reminding people, what the long-term goals are, what our vision is for the future, what it is that we believe in, that your vote means better access to healthcare, that your vote means more affordable colleges and more affordable housing. And so just making it relevant.
Great. So Asheville is split into 2 congressional districts right now. One being represented by Republican Patrick McHenry, and the other one being represented by Republican Mark Meadows. So just judging by the amount of coexist bumper stickers on Subarus here, how did this happen? How are you going to fix it?
That is essentially really decades-long effort by the Republican Party to lock up as many districts and as many positions of authority as they can. It is a strategy that they've used to great success, as you can tell, because Mark Meadows is one of the most conservative people in Congress, and Patrick McHenry is up there as well, but Asheville's not like that. And so they've spent a lot of time and effort making these districts, locking up judgeships, and getting this to a favorable point for them. And really the only way to fix that is to get out there and make it known, advocate for good policy, get involved, and vote.
Well, and Democrats are the only ones that are talking about independent redistricting at this point, right?
That's
So
right.
you
What would independent redistricting, what would that look like?
So a few different states have a few different ways that they do it. So we'd have a couple options, but typically it is a board that's appointed. There might be one person appointed by the governor, somebody else appointed by the legislature. Usually there's citizens that are involved as well. But typically just a board of people that don't have any stake in the process aside from being your average voter. And then, you can use computer programs if you want. There's a lot of math and statistics that goes behind it, but just having people appointed that are nonpartisan.
Math and statistics, that's like, it's too much for me. I just want a candidate who is good so I can vote for them.
You don't have to be on the board.
Thank you guys so much for coming out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And where can people find you?
We are on Facebook. If you look up Buncombe County Young Democrats, we are on there. We're also on social media, Instagram specifically, as well. We have a website.
It's BuncombeYoungDems.com.
BuncombeYoungDems.com.
That's right.
You heard it here. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.